All right, so here's that part 4. And again, I know I'm going slow, but hey, I got to be thorough. Now I'm back to the bottom of page 2 of my syllabus. It says, every week, at least one homework and quiz. You got to stay on top of these. If you do, they're relatively easy points, especially the assignments because you get 3 cracks at them. The quizzes aren't that bad either, though, I promise. Sometimes, by the way, they're redundant. I sometimes have the same item or very similar item on a homework and a quiz. That's okay. That's okay. In some cases, it's because the chapters don't have enough unique questions to do anything else. All right? So it's up to you to get those in. Do them every week. I'm going to drop your worst 2 homework scores before computing your 15% homework grade. I'm going to drop your worst 2 quiz scores before computing your quiz average. All right? Now that means, I got a note about this here, you're allowed to manage those drops however you want. If you want to take 1 week off, say in the middle of July, and you're going to heck knows where, you're going to Italy for vacation or something, kind of like me going to Greece, and you don't want to do anything, and you're just not going to do any homework or quiz that week, that's fine. You can use both of your drops on homework because you're going to have 2 chapters we're going to cover. So you can drop both of those homework chapters. You can drop both of those quiz chapters. And there you go. But that's it. You would have used in 1 week all of your drops for the entire summer. And any other bad scores beyond that have to go counting in. So the best way to do this is to be methodical, get on the material early, get those decent scores in early on My Finance Lab, and there you go. All right, the other part, since, again, that's 15% assignment, 10% quiz. The other part of this, let's talk about exams. That's what people are going to be worried about, naturally speaking. Some of you have taken some of my exams before. Okay. Well, the exams, right, in my class, very much like any class I teach, my exams cover the stuff that we do together. I don't go crazy with weirdo things that you haven't seen before. For our exams, if you've taken good notes from my narrated course slides, chapter by chapter, you listen to them over and over and you're ready and you've taken notes and you've read your text, you'll be good on those items. If you've practiced the homework problems that I've assigned to us together to look at, you're going to do good on those problems. Okay? Well, that's what's going to be on the exams. I'm going to ask you things that came up in my course slides. I'm going to ask you to do problems the type of which you've seen before in our homeworks. Okay? Both are online homeworks, from My Finance Lab and from the textbook. Right? The homework problems that I do with you and that you've got a list of problems to try. All right, that's what the tests are about. Taking the test is a pain in the butt for the summer. It just is. That's one of the bad things about having an online class. We do not use, I cannot emphasize this enough, we do not use ProctorU or any of those other services. Okay? You have to physically sit down somewhere and take the exam. Most of you will be able to do that in Pensacola. All right? You see the exam dates, the exam due dates, on the last page of our syllabus. This is our last page of the syllabus, which has the schedule. I've got exam 1, exam 2, exam 3. Okay, those are all Fridays. Friday the 14th, Friday the 12th, Friday the 9th. Those are the times where your exams are due. But most of you will not have those exact times and days come into play. Most of you will actually end up taking the test a little bit before those moments. Right? The biggest chunk of you, I suspect, will be taking them in person in Pensacola. Just for example, this first week where there's exams due, oh yeah, my wedding week again, is June the 10th, Monday the 10th through Friday the 14th. I'm going to have offerings for people to come and take them, no charge, just come up to UWF. I've got the room, I'm working on the room reservations right now, to come and sit and take the test in person. It's an hour-long test. I'm going to set aside a room and a time for people to come to Pensacola that week. I'll let you know a little bit in advance, probably about 2 weeks in advance, so that you can plan your schedules. I'm going to try to do it twice in Pensacola, maybe one during the day, one during the evening. And I'm going to also try to do it once in Fort Walton Beach during the week at our Emerald Coast campus. I'm going to try to do 3 different live sittings for people to just come and take the exam. That's a really easy way to do it. If none of those times work for you, Then another possibility is to use the testing center at UWF. I think you have to pay a fee if you do that. It's like a $20 fee, though, if you're going in there to take a test. Or, if over in Fort Walton Beach, you can contact our proctor administrator over there. Her name is Andrea Reimer, and I'll put you in better touch with that as we get close to exam 1. And you can make your own arrangements to come and take the test. Now, if you're not taking it during one of these sessions that I just spoke about, but you're instead making your own arrangements to use a testing center or to take the test with Miss Reimer over in Fort Walton, then you'll have to do more work. You'll have to be more proactive about getting your test time set up. Our exams are closed book, closed notes. You can open book, open notes, use whatever you want when you do homework problems or you do your online quizzes and assignments, but our exams are all closed book, closed notes. You'll use your financial calculator, but nothing else. Okay? The final choice, say that you're not even in the Pensacola area, you can still take the exams and complete our class, but you'll have even more work to do. There's a proctor approval form for taking exams at institutions other than UWF. Those would be either an accredited college or university with a testing center, or if you're a service member, military installations all over the world, really, have facilities for students taking online classes to take exams. So all this stuff in the exam section, believe me, the reason I've written this all out in detail on my syllabus is that taking exams for an online class like this is a pain. If you're one of the people that are just coming to take the test during the week of in Pensacola or Fort Walton, awesome. It'll be easy for you. Making other arrangements is very doable, but it's involved. Okay? If you're just a civilian, a normal person, and you're wanting to take, and you're going to be living somewhere else this summer, or be out of town during the week of the test, that's fine, but we got to find a local college for you to sit and take the test at. Almost all colleges and universities can assist in your proctoring. Last summer I had somebody in Michigan, somebody in California, I think somebody else in, I can't remember, Wisconsin or something, somebody else in Central Florida, I believe. Very easy to find a junior college nearby, a university, and we send them a proctor form, they proctor the test, it's really easy. But you're going to have to clear that with me way ahead of time. In fact, if you know that you're going to be out of the country, or out of the state, out of the area during our exam weeks, it might not even be a bad idea to contact me right now and we can start talking about what local university. I can Google it and usually help you find something where you can take the test. If you're a service member, this will probably be pretty easy, and even if you're stationed overseas, you'll be able to take our exams using your facilities, and I suspect that won't be news to you. But again, if you're a service member or a civilian and you're going to be gone, the earlier you let me know, even if it's this week, the better, and we can start talking about where to take your test. The final thing, if you're not a service member, if you're just a civilian, but you're going to be out of the country, I'm living in Brazil this summer, I'm living in blah, 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 you won't be able to complete our class. I cannot stress that enough. You cannot complete our class if you are living out of the area during the summer. I usually have somebody who doesn't say anything or do anything about this problem until it gets close to exam 1, and then they want to look for some way to take the class and take the test. Can't do it. That's why I'm telling you right now, so that you can try to manage your schedule if this is somehow news to you still. Okay, that's the idea. Now, most of you, again, will be taking exams in Pensacola or in Fort Walton, either at one of the preset times or on your own schedule when you work something out with a proctor. If that's the case, it'll be really easy. If you're taking them out of the area, again, that's fine, but they have to be in to me, and I say 5 p.m. here, but I've changed that, and I forgot to tinker with it in the syllabus, and so what I'll probably do is go back and maybe I'll even repost the syllabus. But the schedule I have here at the very back of the chapter, that's what really matters, this schedule. 11:59, I'll let you have from 5 o'clock to midnight. I'll use midnight. You don't need to have them in by 5. If you get those in the day of, otherwise I got to penalize big. Otherwise the incentive to get this done correctly doesn't work. So those Friday deadlines for the exams are serious. You got to get those in. Otherwise, 25% of the credit goes away. A 65 becomes a 40, a 100 becomes a 75, blah, 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 blah. 25% of the credit goes away. This is really serious, so let's make sure you take care of it. All right, let's move on to another YouTube section.